Black men are perfect.
Yes, you are.
I agree.
Yes, you
I agree.
are.
So
I agree.
Missy Nas, I think a lot of it, and this is gonna sound awful. I think a lot of it is the overeducation of the woman. I think she
How can
changed.
you
I
be
think again,
overeducated?
wait. I think when you compare her to the man, and I think she changed. She started to look for something different because she went and got her education.
Mm.
She now knows.
Like when we talk about this time gap, some of the things that happened in that gap was black women acceptance into college skyrocketed. There was a narrative that was pushed from the late, not from the late, I'd actually say early 90s, but from the late 90s into the middle 2000s. Women, go get your education, go get that bag. That's how you're gonna go find the bag.
That was also pushed for men as well. They just didn't listen.
But Shand, here's the thing. Why were women pushed to do that? If you look at historically the time frame that you're talking about, what happened just before that?
Now, see, if we're gonna end up back in slave times if we keep doing this.
No. Cause and effect. Cause and effect. Cause and effect. There's different like actions that cause certain reactions. What happened just before the early to mid 90s for women to be pushed to go get their education, to go get the bag? What happened?
Mass incarceration for 100.
We have a winner. Women were forced into that position. It wasn't that women just decided we want to out earn men for the fun of it, to have leverage. It was a necessity thing. Now, has it evolved to that now? 1000%. Women now use it as leverage in a relationship. But what initially caused that push was that there was this serious shortage of available men to provide. And so, like, we can't just we can't
I
have this
don't know.
conversation without acknowledging
I
it.
don't know. Is it really for? So you're, of course you're right, but is it really about education? Did that really spark a need for education or women in the workforce? Because I can make the argument that women today have overdosed on education. Okay, very few people are getting substantial education that actually makes net profit. And the way I prove that every time I have this discussion is if, let's say, black women, for instance, are the most enrolled people or going over a decade, but the wage gap has not moved one red cent. It actually went backward. So if education actually equaled profit, then it would have went, if let's say men, if a quarter of black men today decided to go get their education in some kind of STEM field, whether it's engineering or even a trade that gives you a associates with a certification, you would immediately see the black wage the wage gap between whites and blacks close, because men equal productivity, experience, money, taking care of family, etc. So because that's what men do when they make more money. They just create more families, more communities, and that's been historically true. But with women, they'll say education, but it doesn't always mean the exact same thing. The same way when men do it. What do y'all think?
And I do believe that, but I think that women went to school historically for different reasons than men went to school for, to become well versed. So if you did marry a man who was a distinguished person, you would be a great fit for him, because you would have to work the room just like he would have to. He would have to have someone beside him who can carry on conversations just as well as he can, his kids, his legacy, to make sure his legacy grows up. So our purpose in education used to be very different. So I think that it's more so an opportunity, more so than the workforce.
Gotcha. I didn't mean to say gender wage gap. I meant race wage gap. Do we all know the
What
gender
now?
gap? Somebody said gender gap. I know that that's a myth that's been debunked. This doesn't exist. Um, I meant to say race wage gap. Like, because black women have been the most enrolled in school for a decade, you would see the black race make gains, right, in closing the wage gap with whites. But that's not what happened. It stayed the same and then went back a couple of dollars because of the amount of debt infused. So that's what I meant to say. Chat.
So I agree with you on that front, Trigger Mike, right? Like I don't think that the areas in which Black women are educating themselves are the most profitable, right? I don't think that, like, right now, I don't think they're also, like, women are not getting that education for the purpose of, like, what do we call it? The Black girl boredom syndrome.
Ooh,
right?
Yeah.
I'm bored. I'm gonna go get my master's. I'm bored.
Mhm.
I'm gonna get a second master's. I'm bored. I'm heartbroken. I'm gonna go get my PhD. Right? That, like, Black women are overachievers in terms of the field of academics.
Mhm.
Right? That doesn't necessarily translate to the dollar amount. And yes, I agree that today most Black women are using their education as leverage in the relationship. But that has evolved from the point of, like, having to get your education, because what's the one thing all Black people are taught, boys and girls alike? You go to college to get a good job.
No, Black boys aren't taught that in mass, actually.
Now,
No,
right?
I don't think they've been historically taught that. I think looking from, like, when did they start closing the factories down? The 70s? Literally, because I think historically, college is actually for rich people and smart people. That's who it's for. We have people getting into college that should never step a foot on the campus, myself included. I needed to get my grades up before I ever went to college, and that would have been at least 25 years old. I had no business going there at 18, because it's a place for smart, intelligent people to congregate, challenge each other on ideas that will be put out into the workforce in the world to further, every innovation and design that we have. But now we just got a bunch of people in college and not supposed to be there. And I forgot my point. I see Marcus waving his hands. You on mute, bro.
So with Enah's point, I agree with what she's saying. So when we were told to go to school, nobody told us what degree. They didn't have the information to instruct us on the right path. So we were told get an education, but they didn't say nothing after that. It was just like, go out there and try hard. That was pretty much the instruction. And part of that try hard was go to college. To her point, that did happen.
I'm split though, because, and this is definitely an anecdote, I need to research this a little bit better. I felt like a majority of the men that, when I was young, they were told to look for any available lucrative opportunity. So where I'm from in Virginia, damn near half my high school class, there were boys went to the shipyard on an apprenticeship. Some of them run whole departments, whole engineering departments now, because they've been there since they were 14 years old in an apprenticeship. Right? So those jobs for men are lucrative, meaning that you're being taken care of, you're getting entered into a system that has a hierarchical pay structure, advancement structure, and all of that, and military. Like, that's in my side. Obviously, in Virginia, that's the big thing out there. But people push boys into those things so they can begin getting work experience right away. Because if we're really going to be honest, right around the time we started suffering from the loss of fathers, boys started becoming stupider and stupider.